Welcome to the Virtual Machines module. Before we understand virtual machine, let's quickly recap what we have learned in AZ900 of different deployment service. One thing that we have learned is IaaS, Infrastructure as a Service. Virtual machine is a perfect example of infrastructure as a service wherein I don't have to worry about the underlying hardware. All I need to do is choose the size of the virtual machine and the operating system, and as a customer I am responsible for all the dependencies, so I need to install the right set of runtime dependencies and libraries, and I have to completely take care of my application and data identity and access management. Now, whatever which is in green has to be managed by me, and whatever which is in blue will be managed by Azure. Planning a virtual machine creation is the most important because any kind of task and deployment in Azure portal is less than 10 minutes, but planning usually takes few days or few weeks or even few months time. Let's see what are all the things that we have to plan before even creating a virtual machine. The first point is start with a network. But what is this network? We haven't learned anything about networking. For today, I'm going to strike out this. After learning networking, we will consider this as the first logical step. As of today, the first logical step is going to be the name of the virtual machine. Why is name very important? Because by just looking at the name of the virtual machine itself, I need to identify what kind of resource it is, where is it deployed, and what is the purpose. For example, I can also create test VM, or I can give db underscore VM underscore EUS. So when you receive the monthly billing, which has hundreds of other VMs and other resources, by just looking at the name, you can identify that this is used for a database purpose, and this is nothing but a virtual machine and not a storage account and not a Kubernetes. And this is deployed in East US region. By just looking at the name, you will be able to get three different information. And location of a virtual machine. Not all images and operating system of virtual machine is available in all location. Azure as of today has 54 regions. But we need to carefully find out where exactly I'm going to deploy my resource. Size of the virtual machine. If you already have an on-prem setup, it is very easy for you to choose the size. If you are a new customer, then you may have to go through different SKUs, which is called store keeping unit. In the next slide, we will see what is SKU, and we need to understand it better to choose the size of the virtual machine. Understand the pricing model, how Microsoft calculates the final billing. At the end of this particular lecture, I'm also going to tell you what is the pricing model for virtual machine. If I mention those kind of terms, you may or may not understand. So let's have our hands-on module, and then we will try to understand the pricing model. The virtual machine comes with only the operating system disk. Do you need a data disk? That is a decision that you have to plan. Also, select the operating system. Broadly, am I going for Windows operating system or Linux? Now, with this, we will see what are all my options. Virtual machine sizing, that is nothing but SKU, store keeping unit. What is SKU? Have you seen all the 200 ml Coca-Cola bottle have the same SKU number? And if you go for shopping in H&M, all the 32S or 34 regular fit, they all have the same SKU. So here also in Microsoft Cloud, you have the option to choose VM SKUs and not the individual configuration. For example, you will not be able to choose 8 core processor plus 16 GB RAM. You have to choose the right set of SKU which is relevant for it. Hence, we need to understand all these sizes. It is really hard for you if you try to memorize all these, but try to understand the classification rather. General purpose. All the B series and D series come under general purpose, wherein it costs few dollars per hour. Compute optimized. All the F series come under compute optimized, which can be used for maximum CPU and memory utilization. Similarly, we have storage optimized, memory optimized. If yours is a gaming application that you want to run, then you all have this N series machine with all the NVIDIA cards in it. And we also have HPC, which has Intel Haswell processor. So these VMs are all H series VMs. A virtual machine SKU comes with operating system disk. But if we need data disk, we have two options, unmanaged and managed. It is always a recommended practice to go for managed disk so that the IOPS is taken care by Azure. On the other hand, if you are an on-premise infrastructure administrator, you know the pain of having unmanaged disk and taking care of the IOPS on your own. In the next few minutes, we are going to create a virtual machine in our portal, and these are some of the things that we need to take care of it. These are the 7 tabs. Under every tab, we have few options, and every click is really very important. We will first try to create a Windows virtual machine and then a Linux virtual machine. What is the use of these two? Windows Virtual Machine comes with Windows operating system, which also comes with a lot of inbuilt roles. On the other hand, you have to pay more for the Windows operating system. If your customer needs a Linux virtual machine wherein you don't have to pay for the operating system, but you will lose a lot of inbuilt options like Windows. So it's purely up to your customer whether they want a Linux server or a Windows server. Let's do one thing. In the next lab, we will create a Windows web server with inbuilt IIS option, which is Internet Information Service. And also, we will try to deploy a LAMP stack. What is LAMP stack? In most of the companies, they prefer a LAMP stack, which is Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. Are we going to install everything? Of course, yes, but it's going to be a very, very simple step, and you will understand why many companies prefer Linux. Once the creation is done, how am I going to connect to the virtual machine? We have three different options. For Windows, we have RDP, wherein we use port number 3389 for connection. For Linux, we use SSH, wherein we use 22 port number. If I don't want to enable any of these two, I can go for Bastion, something called Bastion, which is similar to the jump server of your on-premise network. Let's go to the portal and we will deploy our first two virtual machine. First one is the Windows web server, second one is the Linux web server.